um, already. Oops. Bear with us. Bear with us. Delete that. This should be a good lesson. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. 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 No way. All right, man. We almost ready. We almost ready. We almost ready. Isaiah, Shalom King. Zion, Shalom King. Kodash, Shalom King. Go crazy. Go crazy. This is gonna be a good class. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Bear with me. All right. All right, let's do this. Malachi, you ready? I bet. Shalom King. Hey, I appreciate the hoodie, man. Appreciate the hoodie. I appreciate the hoodie, man. I got that thing in the mail, man. Hey, let me open up real quick. All right, first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Shout out to Azai Got Sauce, because right after the last live we did, I actually got your thing right here. Shout out to Azai Got Sauce. The last lesson we did, it was beautiful, man. Brothers was kind of inspired to do something nice to someone else, some kind of alms, charity of the sort. through the spirit. And the brother hit me up immediately and was like, hey, it jumped on my spirit to do this for you. So he sent me a hoodie. And I got it pretty quick too. When did it come in the mail, babe? Yesterday. Yeah, that was dope. It was a pleasant surprise. So I'll praise to the Most High for that. I hope brothers and sisters actually did something that we would deem as charitable or alms. You know what I'm saying? Could be a small gesture. All right. Without further ado, let's jump into this lesson. My energy is just a little low, but it's going to pick up here in a second. I guarantee it. It always do. And this is a topic that I really, really enjoy talking about, meditating on. So my energy definitely going to pick up, and y'all going to get a little warm through the spirit. All right. So the title of the lesson is Insight to Communication and Understanding. So we might end up talking about how we do. We usually end up talking a little bit more than what the title just say. It's hard for me to stay completely on top because there's other things that's involved through the spirit. So I definitely want to give y'all some tips and tricks and what the scriptures teach us about communication, what the scriptures teach us about understanding, and how powerful of a tool it is. And you sleeping on it, you got to be utilizing it, but you utilizing it to some degree. But look, to get to the next level, to be a more powerful speaker, to be better at communication, you gotta get that lab work. So that's kind of the spirit of today's lesson. It was kind of inspired by yesterday's conversation I had with Soldier Malachi. In the morning, our morning meditation was fire. So y'all gonna catch some of that through the spirit. Prince Malachi, you got anything you want to say before I jump into some of the?
No, sir. Shalom, everybody, though.
All right, bet. So let's share my screen real quick. Let's share my screen real quick. Communication. Quick definition on Google. AI overview says communication is the process of conveying information, ideas, or feelings through verbal, nonverbal, or written means. So that's already hot already. That's already hot already. I almost removed Malachi. All right. That's already hot. Let me tell you why. Whenever I asked my wife this morning, I said, when I say communication, what's the first thing that comes to mind? What'd you say? Talking. She said talking. Wasn't no wrong answers. It wasn't no right answers. I just wanted to see where her mind went to, because my mind goes to that too. I just read Azaniah. Brother. All right. So the essence of communication. Wait. I'm jumping the gun. That message was so funny. It threw me off my rhythm. Stop talking, bro. Dang. You throwing me out of whack, man. All right, let me recalibrate. All right, I can't stop blushing, Malachi, because I enjoy this topic. I can't stop blushing. All right. So look, and the brother called me wicked. That was funny too. All right. So, anyways, whenever you think about communication, you think about talking. But whenever you look up communication online, it talks about verbal and nonverbal and even written things, because there's so much more to communication than just you speaking. There's so much more to communication than you speaking. And I don't feel like if you went to public schools and whatnot, they didn't do a good job of teaching us thoroughly, or me. Look, we got one of the worst, what do they call it? We got the worst rating when it comes to public education, I think. Oklahoma got like one of the worst, maybe the worst. So y'all might be smart. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might have had great teachers, but ours was risky. Say something real quick. I want to look something up.
I don't know if we got the worst. That's a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely do got one of the worst though. What I think of, I don't know. My conclusion might be influence because we be going in depth on this, but understanding each other. That's a huge part of communication. Because if can't nobody understand each other, ain't no communication going on for real. You know what I'm saying? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me out?
Yeah. Somebody said, Shalom, let's go. That's the energy I need right now, man. That's it. All right. I'm back. All right. Look. So we just learned right here communication is the process of conveying information, ideas, or feelings through verbal, nonverbal, or written ideas. It serves purposes like informing, expressing feelings, and influencing others, and involves a sender. That's very big. This is what we all think about when we think about communication. You sending information, you telling someone, you speaking to someone, but usually that's where it stops. It says a message and the receiver. So there's other parts of communication that exist, like receiving. This is so important. It says the goal is to create understanding. Hold on, let's highlight that. Let's highlight that. Let's highlight understanding. It says the goal is to create understanding between individuals through a shared system of symbols, whether through speaking, writing, gestures, or other media. So you got many methods of communication, but there's key ingredients that's going to be there regardless if you're communicating effectively. You're going to have a sender, you're going to have a receiver, and right here is so important. Well, I'll go to methods. You're going to have a method. You got a sender, you got a method, and you got a receiver. Those are some of the key basic things to communication, right? Now, I want to show y'all this because this is actually what I asked Malachi to step in real quick while I looked this up. I wanted to fact check it. I kind of wanted to see what the quick Google search was going to say. When I looked it up earlier in the truth, the percentages was a little bit different, but this is still powerful. So how much does body language contribute to communication? How much does body language contribute to communication? It says body language contributes a significant portion to communication, with studies suggesting it accounts for about 55% of the impact when communicating feelings and attitudes, while the tone accounts for 38% and the words only 7%. So women, I want to do a whole master class on making y'all better at expressing, better at communicating with your husbands, expressing yourselves. My bad, I forgot that word. Better at expressing yourselves to your husbands or to your spouse, or just in general, because I think that y'all could benefit greatly from it. And I want to do the same thing for the men too. But you see from here, your body language and your tone makes up the most of this thing. Just body language is over half of all of it. And then you got tone, and then it goes down to the actual words. See what I'm saying? So if you want something from your husband or your spouse, knowing your body language, being aware and understanding your body language, like this is important. They giving you the breakdown. This will make you better at expressing yourself. Looking at your posture, facial expressions, eye contact, gestures, tone of voice, and then your words is, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing all of those, I'm telling you, the words don't come together easy. You ain't got to say too much, right? That's a lot of bag right there.
Like you.
Yeah.
I want to add on that. I want to touch on that.
All right.
Boom. So it's a healthy balance because when you being aware, when you being self-aware, and when you being aware of how you're trying to convey yourself, and you being aware of your facial expressions when you talk to people, you being aware of your body language when you talk to people, and the tone of your voice. When you become aware of all of these things, which a lot of people are not, you're gonna have to balance it out with also being true to yourself. Because if not, you're gonna come off fake. You're just a very self-controlled person. Everything is calculated and meticulous. It's almost robotic. Like you ain't gonna trust nobody like that. He ain't got no emotional content. He ain't got no true character. You don't know what he's really feeling. You gotta have a balance of being true to yourself, how you really feel, while also being aware of how you come off to others. And like the officer said, your words and your actions is gonna flow naturally because you not only are you using wisdom and you being aware of yourself, and you being aware you can use your body language as a tool to communicate even more effectively, but you also just being real. You know what I'm saying? You're not lying. You're not being a fake. You see what I'm saying?
All right. I'm asking Google another question. I think I got the answer. All right. So let me pull up my screen again. And let's get into some scriptures because I know that's what y'all ready for. Now, Sirach chapter 17. Beautiful chapter. But I'm going to be mainly in I was thinking about going over the whole chapter, but I'm going to cook up with a few verses inside chapter 17. So a lot of brothers, if you've been in the truth for a while and you're aware of the scripture, if you've never seen this scripture, then hey, you're in the right place. All right, Sirach chapter 17, verse 5 says, they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. Ooh, you know what? Let's view chapter. Let's zoom in a little bit. Ooh, this is good. All right, I'm going to start at 4. It says, all right. Okay, what I really want is after 5. All right, so anyways, verse 5 says, they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. And then the 6th place, he imparted them understanding. And in the 7th, speech, and interpreter of the cogitations thereof. It says, counsel and the tongue and eyes and ears and the heart gave he them to understand. So I'm going to be spamming this word understand. I'm taking my time, get into it right now, but I'm going to prepare you right now with a quick preface. I'm big on understanding. I spam the word understanding all the time to the brothers near me. And in this lesson, I ain't going to lie, you're going to hear me say understanding or understand so many times. It's going to be what it's going to be. I really want this to stick. So real quick, let's go back up to verse 5. Let's get some understanding. See that? It says they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord. So what are the 5 operations of the Lord? We all learned about it. Your 5 senses. You got touch, taste, smell, seeing, hearing. Those are your 5 senses. Those are the 5 operations in this verse. Right? Then it says, and in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding. So you got more than 5 senses according to the scriptures. A lot of people are not aware of that. It says, and in the 7th, speech. People don't understand that the Most High gave us speech also, and he marks it and deems it as one of the senses, one of the operations of the Lord. It says an interpreter of the cogitations thereof. So the main reason he gave us these senses is so we could understand what's going on. And then from there, we will understand how powerful God is, and we would be able to understand how powerful God is. Watch, let's go back to the verse again. It says, they received the use of the 5 operations of the Lord, and in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding. And in the 7th, speech and interpreter of the cogitations thereof, counsel and the tongue and eyes, ears, and the heart gave he them to understand. So he gave us all of these things to understand. He gave us speech so we could understand. So you're going to hear me coin. This is a phrase that I've been spamming a lot too. The essence of communication is understanding. Paul teaches you about this. You see it all throughout the scriptures. There's no reason, like you even see it by Solomon. Don't even, what's the point of talking to a fool? You're not going to understand you. You're going to cast it behind them. There's no point. Talk not much with a fool. Understanding is the essence of communication. No, understanding is the essence of communication. It's all about understanding. It's all about sharing information so that they can understand it. It's all about understanding. So you have your taste. When you taste something, you understand what's going on. When you hear something, you gain understanding of what's going on. You got eyes, you gain understanding from what's going on. When you touch something hot, you gain understanding of what's going on. Touch something soft, you gain understanding of what's going on. Then we got languages that's created. Hebrew, share what's going on. English, so you can communicate and share what's going on. All of these are just means for you to understand something. That's all that's going on. Understanding is the key. So when you communicating to people, the whole key, the whole thing that you gotta maintain is it's got to be like the apple of your eye. It's to gain the understanding. The understanding. There's no point in communicating with someone if they can't understand you. There's no point if you're not trying to understand someone. It says, withal he filled them with the knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil. He set his eye upon their hearts that he might show them the greatness of his works. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. So you see from this passage, the Lord gave us these senses ultimately so we can glorify him, so we can declare his works with understanding, so we can understand like, oh, he really is, him. I get it now. Me and Malachi, the morning meditation, like I really start busting out in laughter and blushing because every time I get to this place, it's so beautiful, it's so pleasant. It's like he really is who he say he is, because you can see it in all of his works. There's so much understanding there. There's so, like, the Most High is insane. And every time I get into this meditation, I'm impressed. I'm quite frankly, quite literally impressed at how he designed everything. Go ahead.
So, like, and this is something people might be overlooking as we, speak on this subject. Like, when he went into understanding being the essence of communication, like Jake go hard when it comes to expressing themselves, talking they getting stuff off of their chest. Jake can tell you how he feel. That's not where Jake got a problem at. A lot of times we not able to sit back and be receptive and humble ourselves and remove our emotions, you know what I'm saying, in order to understand. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be able to receive. Because you ever see two people arguing, they come in with their strong points and the other person coming with their strong points. But a lot of time nobody is willing to you know take themselves out of the equation to actually understand where this person is coming from, find a middle ground, or condescend, as Paul would say, and usually both sides can't do that, and that's why can't nobody come to an agreement or have peace. Because if you truly understand somebody and they truly understand you, it's either going to be a profitable solution. You see what I'm saying? More than likely, you're going to be able to find a profitable solution and some good middle ground to where y'all can understand each other and like I said, come up with that profitable solution. But if you're not listening really, if you're just arguing your point and contending for your point, you're not able to receive. You're not able to see where they at mentally. You don't care. You're trying to get them to see where you at mentally and how they need to do this. And you know, you got understanding is what it say? With all thy wisdom, get understanding. Understanding it. Wisdom is the principal thing, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Really try to understand. Be receptive. Be attentive. Be open. Calm down. Center yourself. Open up your ear. Jake, you can say something to Jake 1,000 times. He ain't even hearing you, man.
He not really trying to understand it. He think he already know what you're saying. And that can be true, but do you got a great grasp? Do you have a great insight on what I'm telling you? Knowing something, having knowledge of something is very good. Brothers is knowledgeable. But when you like, I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use an example. Everybody knows what a hammer is. Look at the word that I said. Everybody knows what a hammer is. We know what it is. And we know what it predominantly was created for, to nail nails into wood. That's what its ultimate, or that's what we know it to be used for and what it was created for. If you get a little bit more understanding, you know that the back part of a hammer, you can use it to wedge out nails. If you really understand the hammer even more, you understand that it can be used to defend yourself from an enemy. You could break somebody's bones, no matter if they block it, because you got a great understanding of what a hammer is really capable of. So sometimes when you share knowledge with somebody, they'll pick up on the surface level of what you're saying. But when you really truly understand what they're saying, you getting all of that, you're getting more of it. It gives you even more. Now you become just like the hammer. We know what a hammer is for. You can nail nails into wood. But when you got a great understanding of what a hammer is capable of, it's versatile. Understanding brings versatility, flexibility. You understand what I'm saying? When you have a great deal of understanding, you become more flexible. You become more well-rounded. You can utilize situations, you can utilize emotions in ways that you never thought that was possible. You become more like water because you got great understanding. Say what?
So, like, I said, you become more skillful and intentional.
Okay, Con. I was reading a message from the captain. Okay, I agree. You become more skillful. Now, just the fact that you use skillful, that was good. It made me think of a few precepts. Intentional, right? Let's go to one of our forefathers, man, through the spirit. Let's go to one of our forefathers through the spirit. I got a few things on my mind. If you want to become a better communicator, get better at understanding. Get better at understanding. It will make you so much more efficient when it comes to communicating, especially, to friends, family, spouses. It just makes you powerful, period. Don't debate me on this. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 3. That's not it. All right. Dang, this whole chapter is good and it's hot. Ooh, I know I want to read verse 16 and down. I know that because you're going to see how great of understanding he was able to utilize. All right. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 9. This is what Solomon said. He said, "Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? So Solomon is saying, give me understanding. Give me an understanding mind. That way I can do proper judgment between good and evil. This is a great people. This is your chosen people. So I ask that you give me understanding. It says, and that speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. So the Most High said, because I liked what you said, what you asked for so much, I'm gonna bless you with even more. Because Solomon could have asked for something that was more self-centered, more for him, you know, a long life, riches, kill these enemies of mine. But what he did was think about the nation of Israel. All praises to the Most High. So the Most High gave him more. So he gave him everything he asked for. Then he gave him riches. He gave him more stuff. Now let's jump down to verse 16. It says, then came there two women that were harlots unto the king and stood before him. So two harlot women came before Solomon. It says, and the one woman said, oh, my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day after I was delivered, that this woman was also delivered, and we were together, and there was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, nay, but the living son is mine. But the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, no, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king. So I ain't gonna lie, this is heavy already. This is already heavy. If this got brung to me, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss because this is crazy. So if you wasn't able to understand what happened, I'm gonna summarize these 6 verses or 7 verses. Well, wait, I'm gonna summarize these verses. All right. So, anyways, you got 2 women. They coming before the king and they arguing. It's static there. What's the problem? What's the static there? It's because both of these harlot women, they both had children. So in the night, both of these women are the only 2 women in this house. So you got both of the women, you got both of the children. They both taking care of their own children. Now you had one of the women accidentally overlay the child. And I believe that means she laid on the child suffocated or whatnot, and the child died. So what she thought to do was swap children. So she took the other woman's son and acted like it was her son and gave her the dead son. Now, when the woman arose and she seen like, oh, damn, my son is dead. She was trying to feed it, but the son was dead. She woke up and she could actually see like, hold on, this ain't my son. I know what my son looked like. This ain't my son. But she's swearing up and down that that is her son. And she got the alive son now. So things is getting heated. So now they taking it before the king. That's basically what you missed. That's basically, if you didn't understand what I read, that's basically what happened. She swapped sons. She took that live son. And now she's trying to claim that it's her son the whole time. So look at what Solomon did. It says, then said the king, the one saith, this is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. And the other saith, nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living. So They're going back and forth, and Solomon saying, okay, you saying this, you saying this. And the king said, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. You hear this situation, and the first thing you say, like what I would think of is like, okay, we need to separate them. I'm gonna be looking at the baby, the features. I'm gonna be trying to figure out, I'm saying? I'm gonna get to like, all right, let's separate them. Bring me both of the kids. Let me see what they look like. What does the fathers look like? I'm gonna be trying to figure, what makes the most sense from that kind of vantage point. He said, give me a sword. Well, wait. Ain't no wait, because the king said, bring me a sword. So now he got a sword. Verse 25 says, and the king said, divide the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other. This is insanity. The king, we got a mad king here. Because I'm not thinking this high on it. But here in a second, I'm going to help you. I'm going to try my best to articulate some of the understanding that I think that Solomon was utilizing and how versatile it made him in this situation. It says, and the king said, divide the living in two and give half to one and half to the other. My bad. Some people might not have understood that. He said, the alive child, bring me the sword. I'm going to cut it in half. Since y'all crying over this child and I don't know who it is, I'm going to just cut it in half. That way it's fair. Both of y'all get half of this alive child. That's crazy because ain't no good if it's dead. But he thinking on it higher. It says, then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king. For her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, oh, my Lord, give her the living child and in no wise slay it. But the other said, let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. So he was able, let me tell you what this verse actually means, because I know this kind of English and verbiage, it could be hard for people to understand. The woman who actually gave birth to the son, she said, I can't stomach to see this. Don't kill my baby. I would rather my baby get taken from me and this woman raise her instead of me having it than seeing my own child die and get cut in half. But the woman who wasn't actually the mother of the child, she said, excuse me. She said, forget it. Let's just cut him in half. It's not going to be mine. It's not going to be hers. Let's divide it. Because it's not her child. She don't love it like the other mother, like the real mother actually does. You got to think about the grief that woman is actually feeling, because she literally just lost her child already. She ain't caring about nothing, probably. She ain't caring about nothing. She not caring that you finna get your child took from you, that your child finna get cut in half. I already lost my son. Who cares? Verse 27 says, then the king answered and said, give her the living child and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. That's OP right there. That's very powerful. Solomon was OP. He was overpowered. He had too much wisdom and understanding. He had too much knowledge. So he was able to pronounce judgments like this with ease. See, one of the things I think Solomon was able to take hold of in this moment was the understanding of how much a mother has towards their own children. And because he had great understanding of this, he was so versatile when it came to pronouncing judgment and finding the truth. Because he had a great understanding of women, he had a great understanding of a mother's natural instinct to protect their child. He was able to get to the truth, because no one in their right mind is going to think to pronounce a judgment like this. Let's kill the child. Give me a sword. Let's cut it in half. But the natural instinct of a mother is to what? Protect their children at all costs. Captain Jeremiah taught me this years ago when I first became a part of the camp on some of the testimonies that we have of women becoming extremely strong when their child is in present and immediate danger, life or death situations.
So like you.
Go ahead.
I know a couple examples. I read this article about this one woman. They live in the northern part of the earth. You see what I'm saying? And they got attacked by a polar bear, but she was fighting a polar bear for like I forget how long, but an extended period of time. It ain't like she got a lick on the polar bear, ran off it. She was out there getting sturdy with a polar bear protecting her children. Believe it or not, go look it up. You see what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying? That's proof, man. That protective motherly instinct is a real thing. That's real reasonings of men. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's proven, man. Even you can see this in animals. Another woman, what else? What did the other woman do? There's so many accounts. Oh, this woman lifted up a car. This woman lifted up a car for her child, I believe. Or her child. This woman I remember a woman lifting up a car to protect her child. You can look these things up and get the actual details, but that's how I remember.
I remember the car situation. And I felt like Jeremiah was going over that. Okay, so to bring it back into understanding and how it's really a superpower. It's really underrated and it's really a superpower. The Most High already told us that wisdom and all of the other nations gonna look at our wisdom, and they're gonna say, surely this is a wise and understanding people. Right, let's get that scripture real quick. That's what, Deuteronomy 4. 4
and 6.
4 and 6. Okay. And then I'm gonna kind of jump back in. Say what?
So I got a precept after this.
Okay, bad. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 6.
Before we get off that though, that judgment that he made it because he like an officer was saying, he understood these things. He understood how a mother would feel, would react. He was just too far advanced with the knowledge. Like he seen exactly how this would play out, just because he understood the reasonings of men. And that's gonna help you be a better communicator too. That's gonna help you have what people call common sense when you out here navigating in the earth, man. It's gonna help you understand time and judgment, you know, and consider things in a balance. Like it's just so many examples, but this is a beautiful display of wisdom by King Solomon. He understands people. Brothers, when they learn the truth, they tend to forget common sense. A lot of brothers, especially younger brothers. Like if you learned the truth when you was very young, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to forget everything you ever learned and just, you know, you using one, yeah, you swing your sword crazy. You might be arguing with your parents all of a sudden. Like, brother, I get that you got the understanding of the truth, but you're not supposed to argue with your parents. You see what I'm saying? You gotta have more wisdom than that. You ain't gonna get them that much.
You gotta have more understanding, because the real dynamic between parents, father and mother, and a child, the dynamic has to be respectful at all times. You can't teach parents. You gotta entreat them. The scripture, right. Solomon already told you, if you really came into the truth and you had that much knowledge and wisdom and understanding, then you will understand that if you offend your parents, they'll never hear you. If you try and overly exert yourself and teach yourself or teach your parents something, you will offend them and they will not hear you. They'll be harder to be won than a city who got big old walls. But you didn't understand that. You just had knowledge and understanding that we the Israelites. And now you got all this new profound information. This is burning inside of you. You feel like the best thing to do is to go tell everybody. but you're not understanding how you doing it, how you communicate. You're not understanding where they're at and how they see things. You're aware. You have to become so self-aware to where your radius, you start understanding the people around you. Like, I understand who I am. I understand myself. I understand what I look like. I understand that I'm melanated. I understand that I'm an inner city kid. I understand I went to public schools. I understand that I can be rude in speech. I understand that people might be intimidated by me and my size and my hair, the choice and my hairstyles, how I walk, my confidence. It might make someone, it could have, just that alone could be offended. It could be offensive. But me understanding that, now I know better how to articulate my words, because I understand people guard may be up. I understand how I need to speak to my parents. I understand, like all of my peers, when I first came into the knowledge of the truth, how I tried to spread the gospel and the good news to them. It wasn't seasoned with enough salt or grace, and my timing wasn't well enough. Go ahead, though.
Boom, I got the perfect scripture. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, and verse 15. It says, good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. So if you're able to understand this knowledge and this wisdom that makes up the whole fabric of the world, the fabric of reality, right? The invisible things that's at play at all times. If you're able to understand this, then you can navigate life with much ease. It's going to be better. Sure, you're going to experience the things everybody is subject to, different emotions, different, trials and what's the word? Trials and tribulations. You're going to go through trials and tribulations, but you're going to make it through these things and you're going to succeed more than somebody who's not using wisdom, who's not receptive to understanding the world around them. You see what I'm saying? You got to be receptive to understanding the world around you. You know what I'm saying? You can't be hard headed and be a prideful person and know it all. You're gonna bump your head too much. The second part of that verse said, um, it said, good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. So if you want to go out here and try to have your way in the earth, and you want to ignore all of the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding that makes up the fabric of our reality, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna bump your head because you don't really know how stuff works and you don't care. You just want what you want. You want to do what you want to do. You're gonna have a tough life. You're gonna get life gonna sit you down several times. It's never gonna work. You're never gonna be able to outwork foolishness and walk your way around wisdom. It'll never work for you, man. You're gonna lose and you're gonna be sad and you're gonna be frustrated. And you can stay hard headed if you want to and keep getting beat down by life. We see that all the time. But you could also, and this is even in the truth. I know some people feeling what I'm saying, even though you have this knowledge of the truth. You can keep doing that and being hard headed and thinking you're right and not taking time to understand the world around you, or you can be of an understanding heart. And the scriptures also say, wisdom, roughly paraphrased, and make your quality of life sweeter. It's much sweeter when you take the route of knowledge and understanding. It's much sweeter, and life is more pleasant, and you a more happy person. I'm about to go in a whole. Also in the scriptures, it teaches that exercising this kind of wisdom will help with your mental health. I could go into it, but I already got long winded though. But wisdom
you cooking
is the key thing. Get wisdom, and your life will improve. Simple and plain. Don't use wisdom. Ignore wisdom. Your life is gonna be hard as hell. Harder than necessary. But I digress.
Con, you made a lot of good points, and this when we talk about understanding and we meditating, it can get crazy. We could take it in different directions, like we did in our meditation. It was very, very hot. It was very fire. Brothers got a lot of good insight on it yesterday. But some of the meditations, you can't it's hard to replicate certain meditations. You kind of had to be there through the spirit, and it opened up organically. But going back to kind of like what my goal was with doing this video, it says insights of communication and understanding. One of my goals was to make you better at communication. Now, what's been effective for me is understanding. Understanding is the essence of communication. And I want to I got a few scriptures in mind, but I don't want to forget my main point while going to those scriptures. Malachi, can you go to Romans chapter 12 and hold that and remind me to go here if I get sidetracked? So when it comes to giving, because a lot of times our goal is to give someone some understanding, give someone the information that we have, and you want them to understand. That's usually where we at. A lot of people aren't just cut how we want them to be. Let me hold on. Let me make this make sense. So if you had the experience of chopping it up with Mahar, building a rapport with me, like I'm one of the brothers who one of my favorite things to do is understand people. I love understanding people. Even if you make a decision that I don't like or that I disagree with, my love and my desire to understand why you did something usually takes over. It usually takes the wheel. Even though I dislike it, even though I deem it as unwise, or it might not have been the smartest move, I still would take the time to say, why? What led you to make this decision? Because that's what my quest is. That's what my love is. I have a thirst to understand, to not just know that you made the decision, but to understand why you made the decision. I want to be able to add it up and it makes sense if I was in your shoes. And a lot of times to be like, okay, if I was exposed to this kind of upbringing, this kind of structure in my life, these kind of people, or this kind of spouse, and I had this kind of month, or I had this kind of trauma, or I lost a loved one, all of this would lead up to this decision. And then, and only then, once I understand all of that, I'm like, dang, now I get why you made this decision that I deem as unwise, that I think was foolish. I think it was a blunder. But if you express yourself, if I ask the right questions, next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I get it. You made this decision and it was predicated on all of this. And I see how you added everything up and you got to this. I love that. It gives me so much insight to people's people's mind. I want to take a seat in your mind so I can understand it. Teach me. I want to know how your mind works. I really enjoy that. I have a love for that. That's why it's easy to talk to me. That's why it's easy to chop it up with my heart, because I'm coming from a genuine place and I really want to understand you and what you're saying. That's what has made my communication. That's what I say is the number one thing on why my communication has been effective with other people, and why so many people want to. It's a pleasant experience. People enjoy talking to me. It's easy talking to me, and I enjoy talking to other people. But I think it's that root of all of it is I genuinely like to understand people. But a lot of people genuinely just want to be understood. So there's a need of more people who's more open and willing to really understand where someone else has come from. I feel like we have too many people who just want other people to understand them. All you want to do is you just want everybody to understand where you coming from, and everybody want to they just want to be felt and heard, and you just want people to listen. We have so many people like that. I think what we need to balance that out is more people who genuinely just had this desire to be to understand people. And I think that now let me close the gap. Let me close this gap. Let me bridge this gap right here. If it's not in you, you don't have that spirit, you're not cooked. You can develop it first and foremost. You can learn anything. You can put your mind to anything and everything you want to put your mind to. So you can develop this skill. You can develop the skill because you just want to become a better communicator, especially if you're a leader. You got a household or you got businesses, you got leadership. You're in a leadership role. You have to get better at communicating, period. So you might not have this great love for understanding people genuinely. It's still okay because you can still get the same result. So this is what I'm going to say. As a leader, you want to teach people. You want people to understand you. You want people to follow you. What's going to make you more powerful when you're speaking to your wife, when you're speaking to like-minded friends, when you're speaking to family, when you're speaking to brothers, when you're speaking to anybody, is first, give me Sirach chapter 11:7. This is the principle. First, because you can practice this. First, I'm going to show you what you do first. This is going to make you better at communication. It's not just with judgment. We went to the account with Solomon and we're finna go to this scripture, but it's not just judgment. Read that, Baba Kasha.
Romans 12 and what was it?
I want Sirach chapter 11 and verse 7.
Oh, so I get.
I might pull it up because I feel so passionate about this. I'm gonna cry.
You say 11 and 7?
Sirach chapter 11. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen because it's too important of a point. Hey, if you desire to be a judge, you desire to be able to judge between matters good and evil, you're over people. If you don't learn this skill, you're cooked. No way around it. You're cooked. This is Sirach chapter 11 and verse 7. Let me zoom in for the people in the back. It says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. So right now we're going into judgment. Don't be too quick to blame someone or to say someone else is guilty or say someone else is wrong. Don't be quick to do that before you have examined the truth. You got to hear both sides of the story. Even Solomon did. He said, okay, you said this, she's saying this. Now I examined both sides of the story. Now I'm going to say what I want to say. Your friend in your ear telling you something, girl, my husband did this. Well, don't be too quick to say he wrong because you don't know what his story is. It might make more sense to hers. This is good. This is a good structure. This is good wisdom right here. Apply this. Don't be too quick to blame somebody before you has examined the truth. Look at this, y'all. This is my point. Understand first, then rebuke. Understand first, then rebuke. So understand both sides of the story. Gather a great understanding of who you're dealing with, where this information is really coming from. Their real intentions and goals behind something. Sometimes people bring certain stuff up. Whole time they got a secret, what they call it. Whole time they got a whole nother goal in mind. You know what I'm saying? They kind of moving crafty and they kind of doing shady stuff. That's why you got to be more ready to understand the situation first before you start rebuking or jumping to conclusions or saying someone is guilty or saying something that someone is wrong. And now extract this right here. Extract this. Extract that. I'm zoomed all the way in. Understand first. If you gather from this scripture is really talking about judgment. And when it comes to deciding between right and wrong, the first thing you got to do is understand first. That way you can pronounce the right and accurate judgment. That way you can get to the truth. Now, if you extract this same principle and you utilize it with just communication in general, you'll be OP. You'll be way better off. You want to really tell your friend, like, hey, King, you musty all the time. Sure, you could say, hey, bro, man to man, brother to brother, You musty all the time. And, you know, you need to do something about it. You can do that. But they might get offended because you don't really know the whole story. But if you say, hey, King, you know, I'm coming to you like a brother. I just want to come to you and do my due diligence. You might preface it first and you let them know that you're trying to understand the situation. You might ask them like, you know, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? You know, you might ask him if he's aware. You might ask him, you know, how he doing financial.
Condescend.
You condescend. Let's get the Romans. Let's get the Romans. Let's get the Romans. Let's get that. Oh, hold on. That blue cat, blue letter Bible, Romans 12. What's the exact verse, King?
I believe it's verse
16.
Okay.
Ooh.
Romans 12 and 16. Be of the same mind, one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Oh my God. That like touched everything, didn't it?
That's powerful. This going into brotherly love. When you going into sharp rebuke is necessary. I'm not taking away from that tool. Utilize this. There is a time to speak sharply, quickly, abruptly, powerful. Captain Jeremiah do a good job. Shout out to my father-in-law, man. He be teaching me a lot of stuff through the spirit. Everybody calm down real quick. I'm going to talk about Captain Jeremiah again. He taught me it's a time for you to speak sharply and rebuke, and it's completely okay. Like in a hospital, they say, move, get out of the way. They rushing through. That might scare you, might startle you and make you jump. You might have all of this immediately. Your cortisol levels might spike. You might be offended, but it's still move, get out of the way. And they're not wrong because they're rushing. Next thing you know, you look behind you to get the understanding. Why are you talking to me like that? And you got people rushing and pushing someone in the hospital bed, trying to save someone's life. So yes, it's urgent. Move, get out of the way, move.
You know what that's called? That's called knowing time and judgment. They know I'm trying to save somebody's life. I ain't, hey, bro, move. You know what I'm saying? We not finna politely, what either might say, let me scooch right by you. It's not a time for that. Judgment would tell you that. Wisdom would tell you you got to tell him to move. And if you was wise and you could discern time and judgment, you would know I'm in a hospital. It's life and death going on around here. You know, I'm not going to get offended. I need to get out of the way. That is time and judgment. But if you're not humble, if you want to be wise in your own conceits, you can sit there and say, well, you're not supposed to talk to anybody like that. You can't push me. You can't yell at me. If you want to be wise in your own conceits, if you want to not be understanding, if you want to make the whole world about you and what you want to say and not be receptive to understanding, then you can be that person. But everybody in the hospital gonna look at you like you stupid and you a weirdo, and we not inviting him to the big out, man. He don't got it. He don't get it. I don't want to be around no guy like that. He want to make everything about him. He don't want to understand what's really going on. He think when he got a point, it's the best thing on earth, and can't nothing come against it. And he just not the sure. He don't got it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's how not understanding and not using wisdom is gonna make other people feel about you.
You too rough around the edges. You can't take hold. You too self-centered. I'm telling you, once you get so aware, self-aware, your awareness starts to, your radius, you're starting being aware of other people and how they feel and how you come off to them. And now, because you're so mindful of where other people are and where they're at mentally, you know how to articulate yourself to bridge the gap of understanding more effectively, because that's the whole essence of communication, is understanding. You want someone to understand you and what you want to say and how you feel. To bridge that gap of understanding, to get somebody let's say you up here, you're on a higher level. You want this person who on a lower level. Let me turn my screen off real quick so y'all can, nobody missed this. Let's say you're on the higher level. There's someone who's on a lower level of understanding in a particular realm or topic. Sometimes it's necessary. How do I want to teach this? The whole goal, let's say in this situation, your goal is to get them up here and they understand more. But they down here right now. Sometimes what you got to do is slow it down, condescend, meet them where they at. Try and understand where they at. Because you remember I showed you in Sirach, what you got to do. Understand first. The scriptures say the greater thou art, the more you got to humble yourself. This is a real concept that a lot of people haven't took hold of. The greater you are, the more you got to humble yourself sometimes. Hamashiach, he was great. He made himself our servant and he came down here because this is where we was at. Moses, he was up here. He had to humble us some because we was down here. We didn't have the understanding. That's what, the Most High, all the way up here. He has to give us the basics to wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why he gave us the laws so that we could gather more. That's why he gave us the census so we could gather more and understand how great, how powerful, how amazing he truly is. Let's go back to my analogy. If you take your time and from a sincere place, ask the brother who down here, well, why do you look at the situation like that? You know, how is the gears turning in your head? Why do you feel that way? You might ask him, well, bro, well, I never even thought to ask you, but why do you be musty? He might have a logical reason. To be honest, bro, you know, I just ain't got the money. Next thing you know, you meet him and you get the understanding and y'all both up here now. But all you think, he wants to be up here. You just got to bridge the gap. In order to bridge the gap, sometimes you got to slow down. Don't think you all wise and smart. A lot of times when people down here and they say something, if you just slow down and really try to understand what they saying, why they saying, where it's coming from, every single time, almost every single time, it makes sense. If you ask the right questions, because you're the smart guy, you're the wise guy. If you're so smart, why you can't figure out why he down here and why he thinking like that? If you ask the right questions at the right time. Hey, give me that scripture where it says, prick at the eye. Can you hear me, King?
I'm grabbing it.
Give me that prick at the eye, or you can get that draw out water. That might be.
Man,
you see what I'm saying?
But it's Sirach 22 and 19.
All right. Sirach 22. And 19. All right. Sorry, 22 and 19 teaches us this. He that pricketh the eye will make tears to fall. So if you poke somebody in the eye with a needle or something, tears gonna fall. The eye's gonna water up and tears gonna fall. It says, and he that pricketh the heart maketh it to show her knowledge. Excuse me. And he that pricketh the heart maketh it to show her knowledge. So what pricking at someone's heart looks like is you poking and probing for understanding on their mind. You asking them questions. Okay, so when you did this, what was you thinking? Or when you did this, what do you think about this? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel? You know what I'm saying?
Let me pick your brain.
Let me pick your brain. Bro, let me take a seat in your brain and view this whole situation in this world and whatever you're trying to figure out. Let me view it from your point of view. Because people, whenever you get, a lot of times people do stuff because it makes sense to them. So if you get in their shoes and you walk with them twain, and you're gonna be like, damn, all of a sudden, you're not that crazy no more, because I see now. You look at the situation like this. Like, dang, I understand that. And once you really understand why somebody move and operate the way they do, all of a sudden, because you was spiritually mature, you was grown enough to open that door and walk through it. You wasn't being prideful. You was humble enough to walk through this door and lead by example on how you really take your time and understand somebody, even if you better, so-called better or smarter or wiser, or your way works better. You was mature enough. You was humble enough. You was meek enough to lower yourself and walk through that door. You cared enough. You cared enough to walk through this door and rock out. See what it's about. Why do you think about it that way? And people can tell. People can see that. Some people desire to be heard, bro. Some people ain't got that. That might just affect that brother in a huge way, bigger than what you even was intending for it to be. But guess what? Oftentimes when you be that understanding and you open that door for someone to just be open and tell you their perspective on how things, without being too judgmental, without trying to jump the gun and say they wrong, you genuinely there to understand first. People can sense that. And when you do that, that makes them more prone to genuinely trying to understand you.
Hey, that's reciprocation. That's you reap what you sowed. You get them the grace of being understanding, they more likely to give you that same grace and respect in return. That's how the Most High set it up.
That's how the Most High set it up. But you got to be understanding first. Try to understand first. No, y'all go straight to rebuking first. But if you really walked with the brother, you really walked with the sister, you really tried to understand your wife, you'd be like, dang, okay, well, now I see. Now I got a better understanding of why you look at the situation the way you do. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I still don't like it. And it's still not practical to get the, you know what I'm saying, these good results over here. But I can see at the very least why you was led to do it. Now you opening up a door and like, okay, and you shared that with me. I really appreciate you taking the time to express that to me. Because I was a little frustrated because I couldn't understand you. But now I see. Now I really understand why you did what you did. And now, do you mind hearing me out how I looked at the situation? They kind of obligated to do it. Yeah. Okay, bro. Well, look, I was raised like this and such to look like this. So whenever you did this, I thought everybody knew this. But you already told me you wasn't raised like that, and you didn't know that. So when you did this, you know what I'm saying, I thought you was trying to disrespect me. The whole time, it wasn't even that. Your goal was more so this. Now y'all got a common ground where y'all both understand each other, and y'all both y'all at a middle ground. Now you can, okay, look, so this don't happen no more. Let's do this. And now we got a problem that's fixed. Wisdom fixes problems. When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, wisdom, it'll teach you, wisdom and understanding help you solve problems. Wisdom can basically teach you how to anticipate the future. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Captain Jeremiah, I'm gonna send you this link so you can jump on here. Man, I really hope that this provided some insight to communication and understanding. Understanding is a big deal. That don't look right. Well, I might have sent you the wrong one. Okay, wait. Oh, no, that worked. All right. Captain Jeremiah, I sent you the link. Captain Jeremiah, I do want to make an announcement to brothers and sisters who are currently listening. Hey, let me know if if this makes some sense, and if you can see it, if you could just let me know, drop a 1 in the chat if it makes sense. Or do I sound crazy?
You said Cap finna jump on?
Let me reread it. Oh, I get what you're saying now. Sorry, Cap. I get what you're saying now. All right. Captain Jeremiah said he was going to be doing a lesson right after us, and he just wanted me to announce his class before I get off. I thought that he said he wanted to come on and announce something before I got off. That's why I sent you that link, King. So Salakia. All right, so the announcement is Captain Jeremiah actually got to he want to do a lesson. Hello? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. What's your lesson going over? Ooh, okay. I got you. All right, I'm gonna announce that real quick, and then I'm gonna close this up. And are you finna start it right now? Okay. All right, bet. I got you. All right, shalom. All right, act like y'all didn't see me jump on the phone and all of that, and we didn't have all of that miscommunication. Rewind time machine. Jeremiah is finna do a lesson, and his lesson is the understanding of one flesh. So I ain't gonna lie, he gave me a quick introduction to this yesterday, and it sound really hot. It's hard for it not to be hot. You know what I'm saying? But he gonna go into some good understanding. So I encourage all of the brothers and sisters who want strong households, who want to help build a strong nation, to go tune in to his lesson. And he said that he was going to start it right when I'm finished. So he should be preparing and getting it all set up right now. Malachi, you got anything you want to express before we close out?
Hey man, when you out here doing what you do out here on the earth, humble yourself and just have an understanding heart, man. Everywhere you go, just stop being so unaware, man. Be present in the moment, be grounded, and be understanding. You know what I'm saying? That'll just take you far. That'll help you understand. You'll start putting a lot of pieces together faster,
man. Hey, you're gonna look up and you're gonna start understanding the different type of people. You're gonna be better, especially if you want to be a spokesman or a leader or a teacher. The more you understand the people that you're speaking to, the more you'll be able to reach them and articulate, put together your talk, your patterns, and the choice of words and your body language. The easier it's going to be to reach them because you just understand who you're talking to. You know your audience. You don't make fat jokes around fat people. You understand? You got to have understanding. So the more you understand someone, the easier it's going to be to know what kind of how to deliver the message to them. As a wise master builder and as a teacher, we got to get better at understanding our audience. Hey, you're a leader, you got a household. If you're not taking the time to understand the best way to deliver a message to your wife, you're going to have more conflict, more contention in the household. More spirits are going to be activating themselves. Wives, if you don't understand the dynamic of your household and your husband, more static. You're going to feel like you're not being heard. You got to understand your husband. You got to understand that he's a man. You got to understand the dynamic of your relationship. The more you understand, the more in tune you are with that understanding, the easier it's going to be to for him to hear you and understand what you really want and your desires, because you're bringing a message to him perfect. So this dynamic is there in all things, all facets of life, whether you're at your job, whether you're talking to a child, whether you're talking to someone who isn't in the truth, whether you're talking to your mother or father, whether you're talking to a spouse, whether you're talking to just some acquaintance. Just the more you understand them, the easier it's going to be to deliver messages, and the easier it's going to be for them to get in with you and understand what the lens and the perspective you see life, the lens and the perspective on why you care about that Bible so much. You want them to hear you. You want them to genuinely want to understand. Now, I have friends, they come up to me and they mention the Bible to me. Now, my mom, she comes to me and she asks, she brings the Bible up to me. People if they know who I am, they bring the Bible up to me. I'm not doing it. I'm not bringing it to them no more, unless we're on highways and byways, because there's a time and a place for it. That's what we there. That's what we go to do. But I'm not in a rush to make you understand what I want you to understand. I'm going to jump more to understanding where you at. I hope that this message was beneficial to all the brothers and sisters who watched. Lord willing, I can go deeper into maybe some of the specifics and like what brothers done learned. Man, try and be a student of life and understand all of these beautiful creations and concepts and intangibles that the Most High created. I believe that it helps you understand how powerful the Most High truly is, how graceful, how glorious he really is, because he created all of these concepts, all of the different things that cross your mind, and power dynamics and roots and trees and everything that you can think of. The Most High in general created it all. Right. So y'all go tune in to the Brothers Live. I pray that y'all brothers was able to grasp a little bit of value and understanding from this lesson. It truly was fun teaching it. Malachi, I'm gonna give you one more time if you got anything else.
Hey, King Solomon, the Most High put a great spirit on him for him to seek out all of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But if you really read the writings of Solomon, you will understand that he gained all of this by observing, by paying attention and understanding, being open to learning. Also, he had wise counselors, right? So, hey, that's keys right there. You do with that information what you will.
All right. We're going to end this lesson by giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. Y'all go tap in with Captain Jeremiah's lesson. It's going to be good. And until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
Come.